What's up, world? This is Ian Shea, and welcome back to another episode of Paddock Talk. We're going back 15 years, and we're talking about the 2008 World Championship because Bernie Ecclestone decided to say some shit, and that has stirred up Felipe Massa's want to challenge the title 15 years later. What did Bernie say exactly? He brought up the fact that he thinks the Singapore Grand Prix should have been delegitimized, thus canceling the race, giving Felipe Massa the needed points, because you remember he only needed 1 point to get the championship to become the 2008 World Champion. Why is the Singapore such a hinge point in the championship? Well, Nelson Piquet Jr. crashed out at some point in time during the race because it would give Fernando Alonso a safety car that he could use to his advantage to get into the lead, which he did. During that safety car period, Felipe pit and Ferrari didn't do the best job, and he actually took the fuel line hose, the filler hose, the big metal filler hose, down the fucking pit lane and had to stop at exit. And then you just saw all the Ferrari guys. It was awesome. It was hilarious. Fucked him over, though, and he ended up being in P13. Lewis Hamilton came in P3. And that was why the hinge point went into Lewis's favor. 2009, Nelson Piquet Jr. comes out and says, oh, by the way, Flavio Briatore, my team boss, and Pat Simmons, who I believe was the technical director at Renault at the time, came up to me and asked me to dump it into the wall in that specific location to get the safety car out to get Fernando the win. That's a fact. That actually happened. Reprimands came down in 2009 on Flavio Briatore and Pat Simmons. The thing that Bernie said was he knew about it in 2008. Bernie wanted to protect the sport in 2008, and regulations state that once the champion holds the cup in their hand at the end of the season, like Lewis did, you can't touch a thing. The season is set in stone. That's your world champion. This is why Felipe is so upset. This is why Felipe is seeking justice. And I understand why he's doing it. He's definitely a champion, and he was for about the same amount of time that Roman Grosjean was on fire for. It has to be heartbreaking to lose like that. But Felipe, baby, be cool. We have to remember that you did DNF twice in the first two races of the 2008 season. I think that had you not DNF'd then, Singapore wouldn't have been the hinge point that you needed to go into your favor to win that world championship. And Bernie, we understand and thank you that you've been such a instrumental figure in the growth of Formula One. Can't be said without you. It wouldn't be said that you had nothing to do with this. You did. But it's time you stop trying to make yourself relevant. You're in your 90s and you aren't really seeing things that we are today. You should have spoken about the most recent time that there was a controversial win due to an FIA mix-up. Lewis, I feel bad for you, man, to have to even listen to this. I think that it's bonkers. I haven't heard a response from him. I don't know if he's ignoring it, because if I were him, I would ignore it. It's in the rule book that they can't change it, and it's been 15 years. Get over it. That's all we have for today, everybody. If you want more Formula One content, you can listen to our podcast, Around the Outside, the American Formula One podcast, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you like to listen to your podcast. You can look for us on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at ATO_USF1. We post clips from our podcast as well as this show on there. Don't forget to give a like, subscribe, follow, and a share. Please and thank you. Once again, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you give yourselves a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.